Good morning. It's great to be here with you this morning. I am so happy that you've decided to take a little bit of time out of your day to be with me so we can talk about what it is we have to talk about. So, we're talking today about Wink. And there's a number of things that we need to talk about first, but I want to make sure that you understand what we're doing. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about Wink and the whole Wink acronym. So you're going to need your Wink workbook. You don't have a Wink workbook? A Wink workbook? Of course you do. It's the workbook or page or whatever it is, your phone, if you write on in your notes and Evernote, whatever it is, just start to write in that that medium, and that will become your Wink workbook. Because we're going to do some things here over the next few weeks that are going to help you to understand why it's important to know what makes you unique. And that's, again, what we do all the time. We talk about that quite a lot, but we're really going to go deep. And I hope that we can go deep enough that it really makes a lasting impact on you and your life. So, but first of all, we have a lot going on today. We have a number of things we're doing with speakers and different guests that we're going to bring on to the show. So one of those guests is going to be next Tuesday. Her name is Patricia Fripp. Patricia Fripp is the world-renowned, and I'm serious when I say this, world-renowned person when it comes to speech coaching. She can help so many people with their speech and just a general presentation, whatever it is. She can help them to bring so much clarity and specificity to their talk. And I'm just thrilled to have her come on the show here next Tuesday, and I hope you can join us. That's going to be a great show. Before that, we have a show on Friday. Well, we have Vision Alignment every day, but we have a show on Friday, and that will be at 11:30, and it'll be Stroke of Genius. So we're going to talk with Rob Oliver about how he became disabled at the age, I think it was 21, and how he came back from that and has just been doing great things and helping people all over the place. So he is one that knows what makes him unique. He knows his purpose. He knows what he should do with that. So that's really what we cover, and he's doing it, by the way. That's really what we are going to cover in this session. Is we're going to talk about Wink. And again, your Wink workbooks are important, but Wink stands for, the W is for why is it important to understand what makes you unique? Why is it important to understand what makes you unique? The I is for intentionality. Being intentional with what makes you unique, with what sets you apart. Why should people come to you and listen to what you're doing and what you're saying? Well, and really, if you're serving other people, then you're going to be using your skills. You're going to be using what God gave you in order to help other people. So that's really important. The I is for intentionality. The N is for a new way of thinking. And when you have a new way of thinking, a new way of approaching life or just individual items along the way, when you allow yourself to do that, it's going to make all the difference in the world, because you're going to allow yourself to have a different approach, a different perspective. And that perspective and approach is going to change everything for you and for other people. And then the K is for kinesthetic. And kinesthetic means taking action, doing something with what you have, doing something with what you know you should be doing. Much like I'm doing with my speech right now, how I'm talking with people all over the country about what they can do to make someone else's life better. And that's really important for us all to understand, how we can make someone else's life better. Now, you may not feel like you want to go out across the country and speak, but you have something in you. You have a unique set of skills that are unlike any other. And if you can realize what that is, and then do something with it, that's just going to change everything. And I'm just so looking forward to that for you, because you can do so much more than what you're doing today if you just wink. Just wink with me. So, having said that, I have some notes here and that I'm going to refer to as we go through this. So the wink really starts with, again, what makes you unique. But why is it important to know what makes you unique? Well, I have a friend named Karen, and she is actually my childhood friend's mom. And whenever I go to her house, I know what makes her unique. When I walk into her house, she has cookies and she has candy and she has sweets. So I know going to her house what I'm going to get. I know what makes her unique. And when she goes out and she goes to other places where she goes to serve other people, what do you think she does? She takes what makes her unique. She takes her candy. And that's the best, because we know who she is. And she knows who she is. And that's really important. So I encourage you to know who you are. Know what makes you unique and how you can serve other people. That's very, very crucial. Let's see. And really serving other people is really what this is all about. You know, in so many different references that you can cite, where the biggest joy you're ever going to get in your life is when you serve other people and you don't expect a return. Now, sure, you can serve yourself, you can serve your family, you can serve whomever, but when you serve someone else out of the bottom of your heart and don't expect anything in return, then that is where you're going to get the biggest joy that you can ever get. Doing these videos and talking with you is what I do. It's what I do to bring me joy. It brings you joy, I hope, as well, but it brings me joy as well. So let's talk a little bit about what you can do to bring yourself joy by serving other people. I'd welcome some comments from all of you. If you're listening to this on live, please put in hashtag live. If you're listening in a replay mode, please put in hashtag replay, and we'll continue to have this conversation. But let me know where you're calling in from. And again, what is it that you think you have that you can serve other people? I'll leave you a minute or a few seconds, and you can write that down or type it in the comments. And if you don't, that's okay too. We'll keep going. But I really want you to do that. Just let me know what it is that makes you unique, and what can you do with it. So, having said that, go ahead and do that, and we'll come back in a minute. We have some comments here. Rhonda Benscooter comes in live and late to jump on. No problem. Thanks for joining, Rhonda from Signet, Ohio. So yeah, talk to me a little bit about what makes you unique and how you can use that. You know, I think that's really important. When I think of what makes me unique and how I'm serving people, I know how I'm doing that, but some of my friends might not be the same way. So some of my friends, you know, they may just give money to serve other people, and that brings them joy. And that's okay. That's certainly okay, because we all need money. But some of my other friends may have a different approach on what makes them unique and how they can serve other people. They may go down and work in a soup kitchen. I have friends that do that, and that's their service. That's how they get joy. That's really important for us all to understand. So let's back up a little bit. And when you start your day, maybe this will make it easier. When you start your day, what is the one thing that you focus on the most? For me, when I wake up and I focus on staying positive. I know how the devil can have its way with my head and my thoughts and really undermine what I'm doing. But if I can stay positive, I can stay on top of it, then he doesn't come in. Well, one of those ways that I stay positive is by not watching the news in the morning. That's a really crucial thing for me. And it's hard at times for me not to go and just flip on the TV and watch the news. But I don't have to. I'll concentrate on making my coffee. I do my stretches. I'll go down and check some things out in my office a little bit. But when I don't do that, when I don't preoccupy myself, so I also run a little bit, a couple days a week. But that also helps me to stay out. And I don't take any radio. I don't take anything with me. So I'm just out there. But that's one of the things that helps me to release and helps me to stay positive. Because when I come back from that, wow, I feel good. I feel real good. And because I haven't gone into that some might call it an idiot box, but it's that TV, and it just sucks me in, and I just end up watching it over and over and over. Hours could go by, but if I stay away from that, it does me so much more good than if I went that way. And Rhonda, thank you very much, Rhonda. Thank you. Let's see. So, let's see. So, why is it important for you? So, what is important for you to do or to understand as you go throughout the day? Tell me that in your comments if you would. I would appreciate that. So a lot of people might say making money, that's the most important thing to them during the course of the day. Some might say spending time with family, spending time with their grandkids, or maybe maintaining your health. That's another important thing. So what is the most important thing to you as you go throughout your day? What is a way? Oh, so I got a question for you. Now that you know what that one thing is, what is it that's keeping you from achieving that? I told you my one thing is staying positive. And the one thing that's, well, not one thing, but it's several things that are keeping me from staying positive is watching the news or hanging around negative people or, radio. There's all kinds of negativity out there in the world. So if you can stay positive, for me, if I can stay positive, then that's what I want to do. So in order for me to do that, I have to eliminate those outside sources. In the chat box, maybe not, but if you would put in your chat box. Now, we talked about a little bit in terms of what makes you unique. Really, what do you want to concentrate on? What is it, that one thing that you have that you want to focus on? Now, understand that, and what is it that's preventing you from getting there? So let's talk about how you can prevent that from getting. How you can, let me make sure I'm saying this right. How you can focus on that one thing and eliminate those outside influences that are distracting you. Now, they can be self-limiting beliefs, they can be whatever, but those things are preventing you from achieving so much more. What do you have in your life that's preventing you? So I told you the news or negative people or all that other stuff. That's preventing me from staying positive in some instances. But what is it for you that's preventing you from what you're doing, what you're focusing on, what you're trying to focus on? Let's see here. So that's really from a Wink perspective. We talked about the W, and the W is why is it important to know what makes you unique. The I is for intentionality, being intentional with what makes you unique. So we talked about how I have set positivity, I want to make sure that I continue to be positive, because I can't be in front of you all if I'm not positive. So if I can be positive, that's what I want to do. And allow me not to be positive, or distracting from me being positive, is all those outside sources. So that's really important for us all to understand. There's something in our world, something in our mind, something in our life that is preventing us from getting to what we want to focus on. That is key. Now then, that brings up the N. And the N is for a new way of thinking, the wink. The N is for a new way of thinking, a new way of approaching things. For me, I have an office in my basement, and this virtual studio that I have, it's been phenomenal, because a month ago, I think it was, I had my office directly on the other side of this wall that is here in front of me. And it was about a 100 square foot room where I sat every day for years and years and years, and not realizing that there was something that I should be doing about it. Well, in March, I filmed a video in my living room, and it was very nice. I really liked the filming and the space and all that. It was good size. And I said to Connie, I said, can I maybe move my office up there? Because, it would be so much nicer. She said, well, why don't you just move your office into the other side of the basement, which is about a 300 square foot space. I'm like, well, that's a great idea. I never thought of that. And so I moved my office over here. I had it all set up, and my desk was facing one way. It was the same way that I had it facing before, right, with the soffit behind me anyways. And I'm like, oh, it doesn't look very good. So I talked to a number of friends, and they said, yeah, it would be nice if you had your office turned the other way. I didn't know I could do that, but sure enough, I could. And while Connie and I were painting, I just did a 180 with the whole office. And I took someone else's advice. Someone else helped me to get to know that there was a new way of thinking, a new way of looking at life, and allowing me to do that, having the ability to do that, just changed everything. So that's the end. And I see Rhonda has one other comment here. So let's see. My positivity or lack of that. That's what makes you unique, Rhonda. I have a feeling you're positive. So anyway, but the end for the new way of thinking has just been really important for me in the office that I have. That's my way of looking at or explaining the new way of thinking. A new way of thinking for you might be approaching something different that you do every day. Let me ask you a question. What is it that you do every day that drives you nuts? You're not sure why you do it that way. Maybe, just maybe, you could approach it differently. For example, you may put the dishes on one side of the cupboard, and you don't know why they're there. I think of how my wife, Connie, she is phenomenal. She's very, very organized and very clean, and everything is very neat, respectful. But she puts sometimes, over the course of time, she'll change where she puts the glasses. So when we first moved in here 25 years ago, I didn't realize that that these glasses would go in a certain place. Well, then a few years later, she moved the glasses and put them in a different place. And I would still go back to the old spot every time. I'd go back and I'd open that cupboard and oh, they're not there. They're in the next cupboard. So for her, she could have that different perspective, that new way of thinking, because she needed to do things in a more orderly fashion. But for me, it was difficult because I was stuck in my old ways. So if you can get unstuck from your old ways, then you can look at life differently. You can look at the smallest thing. It may be a knit, or maybe not be a it was seemingly very important at all. But tell me what it is that you have that has kept you and maybe allowed you to continue to do things a certain way, even though they make no sense at all. I'd be interested to hear what you have to say. So that's the new way of thinking. And then the K is for kinesthetic. And kinesthetic is taking an action. And I'm a big action taker. You know, when I started down this path 7 years ago with forming my own company and doing something different in life versus being an IT salesperson, I had to just take action. I had to do something. It wasn't always right. Certainly it wasn't always right. But I did something. And sometimes, like I said, I fell down. I didn't fail because I didn't stop. But I did fall down in a few spots. But I just kept going. And once I kept going, then I started to figure it out. And it made all the difference in the world because I am an action taker. And I know you're action takers too. So think about, what action do you need to take to help you to go forward, to Wink. So now remember, you all have this Wink Workbook. Keep your Wink Workbook with you. We're going to continue to talk about it. We're going to go over some of these things over and over and over. But it's all about perfecting the message to help you, to help other people. That's what it's all about. It's helping other people. I'm so glad you're here with me. I'm so glad you spent the morning with me, and I am appreciative of all that you've done. I love you, and hopefully we'll get to see each other again soon, maybe tomorrow at about 10 o'clock Eastern. But thank you very much. And as always, keep one eye on the road.